Okay folks, today I'm going to make Dean's special salsa. For this we're going to use the palmy tomatoes. I've got a big event tomorrow, so I'm going to make 2 batches. These tomatoes are fantastic. You can get these at Publix, maybe some other grocers in different states, but look for this brand. They are very good. They're a little more costly, they're about $2.50 a box, but they're fantastic when you're making spaghetti or chili and even salsa. We're going to use 1 Vidalia onion. On each section we're going to use 1/4 of the onion for each batch, 1 clove of garlic for each batch, and then we're going to use 1 tablespoon of ground cumin for each batch, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and I'm pretty much going to use this only for the mild, because for the spicy one we're going to use a serrano pepper. This little guy is pretty spicy but gives a good kick to it, to a good flavor. And then we're going to use some black beans. Bushes, I like the Bushes brand, they're very good, and I use the less sodium ones. You can use your own corn, fresh corn if you want to boil and go through the process of cutting it, it's very good, but the chipotle white is excellent. So we're going to drain these, cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then use those at the end. Of course we've got cilantro, so any fresh cilantro will do. And then we're going to use the magic bullet, this little gizmo here to chop everything up, and I'll show you how we're going to do that next. But I found that this recipe is absolutely fantastic, and I think you'll really like it. So I will continue into. Okay folks, well we're back here, so I already did a few things prior to show you what I'm doing here, but I went ahead and opened a can of corn, and I washed it out really well. I use filtered water in the sink, so I don't use any of the bad water that we have here in Woodstock, Georgia. But basically put that in there and turn that on for a few minutes. Like I said before, about 3 to 4 minutes we're going to cook that. Over here I did my chopped cilantro. Washed that real well with chopped cilantro. I've got my serrano pepper, and I've got 1 clove of garlic. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and instead of cutting up the serrano pepper, we're just going to go ahead and cut it in half for the first batch. Maybe a little more, but put that much in there just for taste. You got to test it to make sure it's not too spicy. Sometimes it comes out too spicy. Then I'll go ahead and stick some cilantro in here. Maybe about 1/2 cup is probably what you're going to need to put in here overall. Then I pour the tomatoes, just to about halfway. Don't use all of it. It's about halfway. I put a teaspoon of the ground cumin. You can put that in also later if you need more, and then your garlic. Put it in like that. Add a little more cilantro on top of it. So much easier to put the cilantro in here this way. And then later on you don't have to cut it or mess around with it. It's too much of a hassle. Put your crossblade, 4-blade. You can use a blender if you want. The Magic Bullet works perfect. Best Buy now sells them. They're $49.99, so highly recommend getting one of these. I love it. It's fantastic. It's going to change some color when you do this, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to give it some tap. Cut it up pretty good. Then I go like that. Pretty much pureed, but hey, not a big deal. Tap it down. And we get out a bowl. One of the bowls we're going to use for tomorrow. And a bigger one. So use one of these. Pour it in there. Put that aside. Pour the rest of the tomatoes in. Like that. Grab a big spoon and mix it all up real good. And you're going to see you're going to get a nice texture in there with the cilantro. It's going to be mixed up real good. Key ingredient is cilantro, fresh cilantro, and a lot of it. Most sauces you buy, or even at restaurants, cilantro is not real cheap, but again, I think a lot of it is, they just don't put much of it in anything. But mix it up real good, and we've got that part already done, and then we got to wait for the corn, and then I'm going to drain the beans and black beans, put them all in there and mix it up together. Then put a little cayenne in it to give it a little more flavor. And I'll be back in just a moment. Okay folks, I'm back here. I finished cooking the corn. I went ahead and put half the can in here in this salsa. So I'm going to mix that up, as you can see. I'm going to mix it up real good. Then I drained my beans over the sink, got all that black gooky sauce off, and rinsed it real well. And again, I'm just going to pour almost half a can in here. That's plenty. And then save that for the other batch. Mix it up real good. Just going to mix that up. Now, ideally, the taste test, you shouldn't really do it until after it's chilled, because this is just, you know, not good warm. Salsa is so much better when it's cold. But I just want to make sure that I got good enough spice in it, that it's mixed up good enough. And go from there. So let's give it a try. These are the best chips I've ever had. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Oxchital, whatever. X-O-C-H-I-T-L. Only can find these at Old World Market in Publix. I think some other people are going to start carrying them, but they are beyond restaurant quality. But the only problem with them is they're very thin. But I got 2 bags of this for tomorrow, and they are not cheap. They're $3.99 a box. Packaged, but they're really good. Excellent. Very tasty. Does need a little more spice, and it could use a little more cumin. So we'll just pour some in there. And you can do a test on it, you know, whatnot. I'm just going to add some cayenne now, because the other pepper you can taste in there. So not too much, just going to do taste testing. Figure out how much you like it. Mix it up. Real good. You can also add more cilantro if you want. Just break it up and put it in there. This has plenty in it, so it tastes very good. The real taste test comes after it's chilled. This is an old bag, they're all broken up, but give it another test here. Perfecto mundo. So it's very good, and for the next batch, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a little bit of serrano pepper in there, and nothing else, and then add a little cayenne as we need it, but that's going to be my mild salsa. So that's Dean's Special Salsa. Hope you folks try it out. Let me know what you think. It's my first video. I'm not really good at doing videos, and I'm not an actor. And you're not seeing my face because I don't have a face for TV. But if you want some other recipes like my spaghetti sauce and my excellent chili, just let me know. I'll do a video on those next. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And thanks to my Panasonic Lumix for doing this wonderful video. And look forward to hearing from you. Take care.